There won't be a formal Q&A after the second film, but if anybody wants to speak about it, my field of scholarship is Native American history. I have questions, but so I'll hang out for a couple of minutes afterwards in case anybody wants to speak. But right now, we're going to do a Q&A on Boom and Woe. So we have with us the director who directed the film and the executive director of Yellow House. I'll ask you to introduce yourselves, please.
Yeah, I'm the filmmaker for Boom and Woe. My name's Dana Ambrose, and I own Sundog Creations.
So my name is Elise Hayden. I'm the executive director at the Yellow House community.
Thank you. I just have a couple of questions for the two of you and for the community that's here that's joined us today. And then I'll turn it over to the House for discussion, conversation. This is a very touching, beautiful, powerful film. Thank you, both of you. I understand that you are also expanding Yellow House. You are renovating or have renovated the carriage house to welcome more friends. That's amazing because, yeah, the message of this film is that how can these children with disabilities live as normal a life as possible, but still a full and rich life and remain as neighbors? That's such an important message. So I'm curious about when you do expand, so many could benefit from Yellow House. How are you going to make those decisions about who you welcome?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we do now have 2 dwellings in which residents reside, the Yellow House and the Carriage Barn, and we welcomed our newest resident this past May, TJ, who is here with us. So now we have a community of 5 residents, 3 living in the Yellow House and 2 living in the Carriage Barn. And it is a difficult decision to make as far as who joins our community, but it really comes down to fit for our friends. As director and our staff working with me, we have the opportunity to help support our friends in living their best lives, and that means setting them up for success with who they live with and making sure we have the supports in place. So we have a pretty lengthy application process that involves visits and day programming, and then even a residential trial, during which time an individual will come live with us for 3 or 4 weeks. And that way we can help determine if the fit is right for our existing residents. That's really what it comes down to, is and we want to make sure they feel happy and safe and that they belong, and that we have the staff support available.
And as you grow the size of the Friends community, you'll also have to expand the sidekicks too, I would imagine, right?
Yep. Yeah, so bringing on the Carriage Barn, we increased our staff about 30%. We have some of our newest staff members here today, wonderful people, and this really is mission-driven work, and we've been fortunate that we've been able to recruit and attract people that are really committed to our friends. We make sure that the job is as much fun for our sidekicks as for our friends, and that means our activities, they are a combination of the interests of our friends and also the interests and talents of our staff.
Thank you. So, Dana, in making this film, what were some of the challenges that you had in making this film? I would imagine it. And how long did it take? Looked like it took place during a particular season, perhaps harvest season. So, how long did it take, and what kind of challenges did you encounter?
Yeah, so we started the film in, I think it was September, and ended production in late October. So about 2 months of filming. A big part of the process was just letting things unfold and having it be really natural. I know we came up with a bunch of interview questions, but we didn't want it to be scripted at all, because I met with Elise and Andrea, and I knew this story was so powerful and that it was going to tell itself. So one big challenge we had was, forming the story from the hours of footage and the hours of interview that we had. So we took probably like 6 or 7 iterations of the film to come up with a story sequence and messaging that felt really authentic and exactly how the story unfolded and what Yellow House is about.
Well, beautifully shot and beautifully edited, so thank you very much.
Thank you.
The title of the film, from the scene in the credits with the boom and whoa.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. So our friend Pierce, who's sitting here in the audience, years ago he attended Mary Hogan School and was in a class of one of our now staff members, Tom O'Connor. And years ago they had a little joke where they would put some stuffed animals on top of a yoga ball and drop it and see the effects, because cause and effect is an exciting thing, right? And we're a curious group. And so that happened years ago, and when the pandemic came around and we had to be meeting virtually before everyone moved in, and we did some Zoom sessions, and Tom brought that back and he says, I know this will make our friends smile. I bet Pierce will remember this. So he brought out the boom and whoa, and it caught on, and now we do it nightly. It's like our ritual. And when we originally premiered this film, we did a boom and whoa off the balcony of the Town Hall Theater. And our amazing staff, they bring in creations. You see those egg characters and all kinds of fun things that we get to see explode off of the porch, and sometimes end up on the roof or surprise passersby. Just a fun inside joke, and I'm glad we were able to catch some of it in the credits, because it's good fun.
Thank you very much. Let's turn it over to the house now. What questions might you have? In the back, yes.
I'm curious about finances.
Could everybody hear the question about finances?
About the home, how you provide the home, how ongoing.
Certainly. So we are licensed with the state of Vermont. We're what's called a therapeutic community residence, and so the individuals we support are eligible for public funding. It's called Medicaid waiver funding. As a result of the disabilities they have, they can access that funding. So we use that to the extent we can, and then we also privately fundraise, to support our operational gap. And in the future, we do an annual appeal, but we have some strategic thinking around the sustainability of our organization that will probably look similar to a private school or a college, and could involve an endowment.
Thank you. Sorry, Tom, I didn't realize that was you. Other questions? Yes.
What lies ahead as they continue to age for your friend?
Great question. So our group right now, they are young. They're in their 20s and early 30s, but some things, in mind for our community. So our goal is that we build out our 2 residents to have a total of 8 friends, and then in the next year, we're looking towards jobs. So having our friends placed in the community, different jobs, and down the road, we are hoping to have a day program that serves individuals beyond the Yellow House residents. So our friends would be involved with that, but that would also be doing jobs and volunteer opportunities. And then decades from now, we will, life at Yellow House will look different, and will likely involve some changes, to how our households work. But I would say in the next 5 to 10 years, it's about job development and day programming.
Yes.
What impact did making the film have on friends and staff?
I felt like our process was pretty fly on the wall, and we definitely had a few meetings with them, and we integrated pretty seamlessly. So I felt like it was a great experience for myself and both the residents and sidekicks at Yellow House.
Not intrusive, Elise?
No, not intrusive. These guys are really professional. They're kind of flies on the wall, but we also don't mind being movie stars, and I think we didn't mind having the opportunity to get in front of the camera. A great thing about our friends at Yellow House is that they are their authentic selves all the time. And so we saw them in front of the camera, whereas, I made sure I did my hair and everything for the interview. Our friends were just themselves, and it was a beautiful experience.
Yeah, likewise.
We have time for maybe 1 or 2 more questions. Yes.
How did you 2 connect for this?
How did this team connect?
Teamwork.
Gosh, we might have to ask Andrea, our board chair. I can't quite remember. Maybe through a
I got
recommendation?
an email from, I think, Andrea, maybe.
Yeah.
We were looking for a local filmmaker and we wanted someone younger, kind of the same age group, who would be peers with our friends and really kind of fit in with the whole process.
We have time for one more question. Yes, in the back, yes.
Watching the movie, it felt like I got this real sense of family. That's the word that I have been using. I felt like it's just one big happy family. But it made me wonder what your kind of core values are, especially as you go forward and grow, and thinking about how do you maintain that sort of unique quality, and what are the things that drive you forward that help you maintain it?
Yeah, so we have 3 tenets of Yellow House. We have some beautiful artwork up by Chris Murray, one of our founders. Home, health, and happiness. When our founders created Yellow House, they wanted it to replicate the home life that their children had. So home, we have these beautiful homes that we take care of. They're dignified places to live. We keep them clean. We take good care of our gardens. Health, we make sure our friends are getting exercise every day, that they are eating healthy foods, that they have healthy emotional existence with friendships. And then happiness, it's all about their interests and what makes them smile each day. And so that's really, those 3 things guide us. We have core values for our team, and we do a lot of building of our staff and the culture of our staff. But at its core, home, health, and happiness is what Yellow House is about.
Thank you very much for bringing this beautiful film to the film festival. I think at least, I hope the audience members got an awful lot out of this. So let's give them another round of applause. So we will take a